Hey there, are you ready to take the stage and your business to the next level? Because the doors to my in-demand signature speech program are officially open. Join now and you will get instant access to the program so you can start crafting your 3Cs presentation, a talk that is captivating, compelling, and most importantly, converting. Imagine an audience that's raving about you, remembering you, and referring you long after you step off the stage. That is the power of a signature speech. And this program will help you create one that you are proud to deliver. If you want a sneak peek at what's inside the program, check out the show notes for a past episode where I pulled back the curtain and gave you a behind the scenes look. Your audience is waiting. Let's make your story the one that they will never forget. I'll see you inside. Ever wonder what it feels like to finally own your message and deliver it in a way that makes people say, I need to work with you? Well, that's exactly what today's guest, who happens to be one of my students from In-Demand Signature Speech, and she is here to share the full journey with you. This is a raw, honest, and inspiring conversation with Drenda, who came into the program unsure of how to put her brilliance into words. And she left with a clear, compelling talk that speaks to her ideal clients and opens doors to new opportunities. You are going to hear what she liked, what was hardest, and what she got out of it that she wasn't expecting. So if you've ever thought, maybe I could speak, but where would I even begin? This episode is for you. Trenda, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
These are my favorite episodes when I get to bring on my clients so that you get to share with people like how he has like changed your business, changed you personally, and all that good stuff. I'm just like that proud mama bear over here.
And you
So,
should be.
so share with people what you do, who you help.
I have a day job, but what my passion is helping people overcome the limiting beliefs and stories, the BS that keep them stuck in toxic relationships and toxic careers, mainly because of fear of what people think, fear, rejection, all of those things. And so helping people realize where those fears originated and then helping them release the BS so that they can achieve whatever it is that they want in life.
How long have you been doing this?
It's been a side hustle for probably 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, but really, when I look back, that's what my whole life has been about. I was raised in a pastor's home and helping people, and I did a lot of helping nonprofits with people who had life-controlling problems, and I was trying to help them overcome that, and it was limited because I didn't have the knowledge and skills that I do now, and so I could help them so far, but then it would be like 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, and they kept sabotaging their best efforts, and I couldn't figure out why, and I didn't know how to help them, and I felt frustrated, and I felt helpless, and then I joined a transformational coaching program that helped me realize that it's basically what's going on in our subconscious mind. There's this loop that's running subconsciously telling us our limitations, basically, and so when I think back, it's been going on a long time, longer than officially having a business. It's just been a part of my life.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like most of us who are in this service and helping industry. So, you and I first met, you kind of joined into Anne's signature speech like the night before I think it started. And like I saw this name come across like in my email because I get notifications and I was like, who is this? So what compelled you to join In-Demand Signature Speech? I don't even know if you were in my world or listening to my podcast beforehand.
So I was invited to speak at a corporate speaking event, and I was like, oh shoot, I need help. And so I went to the transformational coaching program and did a search for speakers, and your name popped up, and I kind of looked at some of your Instagram posts, and then it just so happened that you were starting this program like the next day or the whatever. So I was like, yes,
Coincidentally,
coincidentally. So yeah, so I just hit you up on Instagram, I think, or just join the program. I don't know what I did, but yeah.
Yeah, you were one of those people that you joined and you were like, I don't even know when the classes are. I don't like know what the time zones are. Like some other people had asked me those questions, and yeah, you were just like, I'm all in. Um, so you have this booking, and why did you want to take some sort of a speaking program? Because a lot of people are just like, oh, I'll just like DIY it. Watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I'll figure it out on my own.
I had done another corporate speaking event maybe a year before, and I'd done it on my own, and I don't feel like it went that well. Um, I it it I just didn't feel like I'd done a good job, and it's not that I got bad feedback or anything, but it was just I just felt like it could have been better, and so this was a bigger thing, a bigger event, and so I wanted to be on it and really see if this is something that I wanna continue doing, and so that's why I joined.
Wonderful. And I loved having you in there. Your speech was just amazing. I just loved what you crafted. And it was and it was funny too. And as the audience has heard me say, like the more your audience laughs, the more money you make. Yeah. So you're off to a great start.
Yay.
Even though this wasn't a paid event, and I was just talking about you over on my IG stories, even though this wasn't a paid event, I mean, you've already got a booking for next year because it went that well.
Yeah, that was really cool, and that was affirming, and that was it just because I went into it, I didn't wanna have a lot of expectations, I just wanted to have fun, first of all, is to keep the pressure off of myself, but I did I was really considering doing this full time at some point, but I didn't wanna put that pressure on myself, so it was good to have, within a couple of hours or within 24 hours of the event, having somebody say, "Hey, we want you to speak next year at this event." So it was like, "Okay, I think I can do this."
Now,
And I enjoy doing it.
one of my compliments, that's probably like the best word for this, was the person who asked you, do you coach people?
Yeah. That was really interesting because at the end, they wanted to have Q&A, and I was like, "Oh, no. What if they ask me something I can't answer?" And I was like, "Oh, well, let's do it." And so that was actually the most fun part of the thing, probably because the pressure was off and I didn't have to worry about following a script or anything. And so then somebody was like, "Yeah, do you coach?" And I was like, "Uh, yeah." Because it's coworkers, and so we had a different dynamic, a different feel to me, but that was just a story I was telling myself. And so, yeah, it was really cool to have somebody ask that.
Yeah, oh yeah, again, proud mama bear over here. So, what did you love about in-demand signature speech?
I loved your process. I loved how you broke it down into bite-sized pieces, and I loved the support that you gave in having the group meetings, and also kudos to you for kind of controlling the group as well as you do because, there are some people who wanna talk, 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 and then there's no time for anybody else, and you do a really good job of bringing them back in and moving on to the next person without making anybody feel like less than or whatever. So, I really appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to tell you that.
Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, I think it was your whole process that was just easy. You made it easy, and I need it easy because you know, again, full-time job, it was I felt like there was limited time and I just needed do this, 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 and this. And I did. And it was like, whoa, this is so easy.
And it's so repeatable too.
Yes, yes. And it's like I already have two other beaches that I can riff off of this one actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be super easy. What did you like about my framework? It's the grab people's attention, give them a reason for, your authority section, why they need to listen to you, really good value, but also like sharing those little seeds that let people know, like we're really touching on, the neurological reasons for buyers that are in the audience.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing I liked about it was very well-rounded. It wasn't just technical, but there was, bring in the emotional part of it, the storytelling part of it, the humor, the sales, marketing, whatever you want. It was just like the whole shebang in one place.
I had a gentleman recently like tell me that he wanted to work with me. He wanted to do more speaking but he didn't have anything to sell. That's not what his podcast is about. And I just looked at him, I was like, "Don't you want future speaking engagements? Because that's a form of conversion, is getting future bookings, is not just private clients."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I also like that you had a lot of tips for, okay, so when, be prepared because things are going to go wrong. And here's what you need in your kit, and da 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 da. And sure enough, what happened to me was the mic. They couldn't get a mic. Well, first of all, the PowerPoint presentation, they couldn't get it uploaded. And then there was a problem with the computer. And then there was a problem with the pointer. And so somebody had to stand to the side and I had to tell them when to move to the next slide. And then there was a problem with the mic. But it didn't fluster me because you had already said, well, things can go wrong and it's okay. And here's how you handle it. And so I was already prepared and it just went smoothly.
Just because I have had so many things that go wrong. And that's what a lot of my clients say. They feel like when they get up there and they're speaking and they know how to handle the tech issues. And just like you said, like it doesn't fluster them. They're just like, "I was expecting this. No big deal. The show must go on. And as long as you remain cool and calm, the audience is cool and calm."
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have any hesitation with taking the program?
No.
No.
And when I found you and you just happened to be having the program, I was just like, sign, boom. It was all done within minutes.
It was like all perfect timing. Thank you, universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so what's going to be next? What do you hope to do in the future now with this speech and the other two that you mentioned?
Give more speeches, to have more speaking engagements and
Yeah.
just share what has helped transform my life. I want to share that with others. So,
Yeah. And I think you just have such a remarkable story. I think having a process to tell your story, you know, and your story just is so relatable.
you get in your own head and you think that you're some weirdo or something, that you're different than everybody else. But then at the end of the presentation during the Q&A, a lady stood up and said, "Thank you for sharing these pieces
Mm,
of your story in your life because, I feel like I'm the only one, or I've had the same questions and you make me feel that it's okay." And I was
mhm.
like, oh, that was really cool. That was really sweet. Aw.
That is
Yeah,
nice.
Laurie-Ann was right again.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Because it gives in so many different ways. I mean, that comment from that audience member, like, filled your soul and your heart, getting future bookings, like, like, just fills your heart knowing that, like, I'm on the right track, like, people wanna hear this, and you did
Yeah,
hear a lot.
yeah, and it's, again, it was to coworkers, and so sharing certain parts of your story can be uncomfortable, and you have to be vulnerable, which is something that I've always tried to avoid. But it was telling those stories and sharing some of the stuff that I've gone through that really hit home and hit some of the message was what some of the people were looking for. So yeah, you
Kudos
and
to
Brene Brown.
What did the program do for you, like, internally?
It gave me confidence. It reminded me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That I used to talk when I was a kid. I talked everybody's ears off, and then when I got my teenage years, I just stopped talking. And through the years, and especially during the past 5 years, I've been told that my voice, there's something about my voice. And to use my voice. And so I didn't know how, other than the podcast, how to use it. And I didn't know about how to go about speaking engagements. And I didn't feel qualified or prepared. But now I do. Thanks to your program, I know how to craft a speech. I know that I can do it. And if I get wobbly, I got your number. But
You
yeah,
do.
it just reminded me who I am, what I'm called to do, and it gave me the confidence to walk in that. Um,
So I'm curious. This is a question that I've never asked anybody when I've done these client interviews. What was the hardest part of the program, or was there a module that you felt like, "Ah, this one's hard"?
I'm trying to think back to there was one that I got stuck on. So in the beginning, the tagline, but then that came to me while we were in the group call. And I had like the first part of my story. I had the first part of the speech while you were talking to other people because it was triggering stuff with me. So I wrote it down and I think I was like, you came to me and I was like, well, I just came up with this. And so we went through it and it actually kind of worked.
It worked really well.
Yeah. And then there was the part about I think why I'm the expert to talk about this was the hardest.
I thought you might say that
Yeah.
because I sort of remember you breezing over that. You're just like, I don't want to talk about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That was probably the hardest. And then, yeah. And I remember doing several iterations of that piece, and then finally one stuck, and then it was like, "Okay, this is it." Yeah.
And you and I did some private sessions afterwards, and I felt like, yeah, we were working on that, working on it, and then we were getting away from it. And I was like, we got to go back to the basics because the iterations had gotten away from what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you ended up with something like that. It was just a masterpiece. You know,
Yes.
you did the hard work. But the funny part about your authority section is that you get to use that in so many different places, not just your speech. Like if you're a podcast guest, if you're on a panel, it'll be so easy for you just to keep using that again and again, and because it's also very conversational.
Yeah, and it's right after that, I attended some other conferences, and I was like, "These conferences need my speech, need need me in my speech," because they were focusing on the technical piece of a lot of things, but and there was some leadership development stuff, but there wasn't this one piece about mindset. And it is a huge part of personal development. And so I was like, they need my speech. And and it would work perfectly in several totally different industries in different situations, different settings.
Well, are you building the relation? You know what I'm going to say.
Mhm.
Are you building the relationship with the people who put on the organization, put on the event, that are in charge of the organization, so that you can like potentially be there next year?
And so one of them, they have a website. And so if you wanted to be a speaker, you just fill out this form. And so I've done that. That was the first one I attended. And then the other one I attended, I have not followed up with yet. I
Okay,
will.
let's keep building those relationships with those people and letting them know. And you've been, like putting some of the assets from this past event onto your website so that now it's like you're totally legit.
Yeah. Actually, I was working on it last night and put a picture up from this, and then I think it has the title slide there in the picture as well, because it's, talking about failure, the importance of failure and redefining failure and changing perceptions. And, people get stuck with this thought that I can't do this because, whatever. And it's like, that's BS.
So, did you ever have those thoughts as they invited you to give this talk?
Yeah, there were a couple of moments where I'm like, "What the hell did I just agree to do?" And yeah, I was like, "Why did I do this? Why did I do this to myself?" And then I was like, "Look, you've been wanting to do this.
Mm.
You can just say no. and that'll be fine. But are you going to regret it? Are you going to regret doing it? Or are you going to regret not doing it? And I would have regretted not doing it more. And I knew it was something I needed to do. I knew that this is a topic that I'm passionate about, and it's a message that everybody needs to hear. And so I had to get the focus off of myself and say, how can I help everybody else? How can I help others? And so once I shifted the focus from me to helping others, it was just like, can we do this today?
Oh, I love that. And it's so true. Like, excuse me. I mean, that's how I said yes to my first event. Well, I accidentally said yes, but it was just like, why is my head shaking? Yes. I'm not a speaker, but you showed up anyways and you did the thing and you worked your magic and people fell in love with you. And I could see you at those future conferences also, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? So, for anybody who's on the fence and they came to you and said, Drenda, like, I'm thinking of doing in-demand signature speech. What do you think? What would you tell them?
It's a no-brainer. Just sign up.
Get
I
this
mean,
done.
yeah, just do it. I mean, and you're such a great encourager and motivator, and you just believe in people and believe that they can do this. And so sometimes when we don't have the belief in ourselves, you provide the belief that we can ride on until we get the belief in our own self.
Yeah, until you have that evidence that, yeah, you got this. You can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love working with I don't think there's been one person that I haven't enjoyed working with and had so many people with so many different stories or specialties, and just everybody is so darn unique. So,
The the other thing I find interesting with you is there you have to listen to everybody's speech over and over and over and over and over. And some of them are topics that honestly I don't care about that much. But you stay engaged and you stay energized the entire time, even though you've heard this now 30 times or however many. If it's been 7 times, you still act like it's the first time you've heard it. And so that's a gift because I'd be like, "Ugh, good God, we're listening to this again." I was like, how does she listen to this so many times and not be like, I just want to throw up or whatever, you know?
I feel like I feel like you said that to me when we were doing our private sessions, and yeah, I was hearing your speech and certain stories again and again, and I love them because they keep changing a little bit. I know what like, the general story is, but you're fine tuning how you say it. And that's the whole point of having me listen to your speech, listen to your stories, is to really help you fine tune them so that your audience, really benefits and you benefit too as the speaker so that you get booked again. We want your audience raving about you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So Drenda, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would love to add?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you so much. You've been such a joy, and I love having you inside In Demand, the membership as well. But would you share with people, like, where they can learn from you, follow you, all that good stuff?
Sure. Website is drendathomasrichards.com. And then Instagram is Drenda Thomas. Everything's pretty much Drenda Thomas Richards. And I also have a book that I wrote called Dare to Remember, Uncover Who You Were Before the BS. And it talks about, reminds us that we are limitless, that we come into this world buck naked and anything is possible. Everything is possible until somebody says that you're too short, you're too tall, you're too skinny, you're not skinny enough, you can't do math, boys don't cry, all of these things. And we start unknowingly buying into this. And the book is to remind us that we still are limitless. And so thing is still possible.
Yeah, so true. Did you wanna mention your podcast?
Yes. I have a podcast. It's been on hiatus, but I'm going to be restarting it. I'm not sure when, probably this year. It's called Taboo Talks. And it originally started out talking about things that society and the church don't want to talk about. So, like, my first episode is with a drag queen pastor. And then I talked to his mom. And then there's a story of a stay at home mom who became a drug dealer. there's a story from of one of my friends who lost a baby at birth, and out of that, she started a photography business of giving other parents whose uh, babies had passed at birth, giving life, giving acknowledging that baby. So there's some really cool stories there. But I'm gonna take it maybe in a different direction, still talking about stuff that people don't normally talk about. You know, the fears that we have, where they came from, overcoming them, interviewing different people, their journeys, and I don't know, it's still gonna be some taboo stuff because I like talking about things that other people don't want to talk about, and just let's pull back the curtain and shed some light on it, because then once you've shed light on something, it can't scare you anymore. There's no fear left because you've shown the light on it. So there's a story of my I had an abortion, and there's my story there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of these different rules that society has told us what's right and what's wrong and what's acceptable and unacceptable. And until we start questioning it, is this right? Is this wrong? Like, how do I really feel about this? That's how we like really grow and evolve as human beings.
Yes.
I love that. And I love the fact that you are, here's what I talked about. I'm not sure what, like the podcast direction, but I know it's going to change. It's like you're just getting out there and sharing your voice, sharing your story. And that's how you keep finding more of your voice, more of your beliefs, because it's constantly evolving also.
Yes. I've always been told that I buck the system, and, that I've been told so many times that I need to keep my mouth shut. And it's like, not anymore.
Not anymore. And now you have, you know how to make a speech and
Mhm.
really share your thoughts and ideas in an articulate way, with audiences. And it doesn't matter what size the audience is.
Very true.
Very
An
nice.
audience of one.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much, Drenda, for coming on here. I will make sure that all the links are down below so that you can follow her, learn from her, and even listen to her podcast, because some of those past episodes sound very interesting. I'm sure it was a great conversation. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I truly enjoyed it. And thank you for everything that you've done to get me where I am.
Thank you. Thank you. You've been such a joy to work with. I'm so glad that you're still in my world.
I'm glad I'm in your world.
Hey there, are you ready to take the stage and your business to the next level? Because the doors to my in-demand signature speech program are officially open. Join now and you will get instant access to the program so you can start crafting your 3C's presentation, a talk that is captivating, compelling, and most importantly, converting. Imagine an audience that's raving about you, remembering you, and referring you long after you step off the stage. That is the power of a signature speech. And this program will help you create one that you are proud to deliver. If you want a sneak peek at what's inside the program, check out the show notes for a past episode where I pulled back the curtain and gave you a behind the scenes look. Your audience is waiting. Let's make your story the one that they will never forget. I'll see you inside.